Let's quickly talk about Eddie Jones. It's always worth giving Eddie a couple of minutes. I see today he's saying that we've something new. We will have something new by 2023. We're talking about cohesion and all the rest of it. I mean, tell us, let's see, if it was anyone else but Eddie Jones, you'd go blah, but he's...
Yeah, so I heard him talk about this because he's the most experienced coach at bringing teams to World Cups. So he's been to a final with South Africa, a final with Australia, a final with England, and obviously he did a good job with Japan. So he knows, in theory, what gets teams to peak at a World Cup.
Yes.
And obviously the team are underperforming at the moment, so he's under a lot of heat. So he's pushing the data metrics. So basically he's using a guy called Ben Darwin's company, Coghlan Analytics, who did a lot of studies on the importance of cohesion and how that affects successful teams.
What does cohesion mean in the
basically
rugby
like
context?
Leinster having a very settled roster, Saracens, players going from Saracens to England and making your team around that gives you a better chance of winning, and there's research to back it up. So he's basically saying, because he's chopping and changing now, and he said this is the time you need to chop and change, a year and a half out from World Cup. That's why the team aren't firing on all cylinders. But by the World Cup, he'd be ready. Now, I know you could say it's PR.
Well,
if you look back to
2017,
they finished fifth. Like that, 2 years out from World Cup, he builds on that, he gets to World Cup final. So that's where he's at. He's got a new attack coach in that's only in 6 months. You can see that they're not confident in their attack, the way that the shape they're trying to play. And you see players aren't confident offloading. They're trying to play a quicker game. Previously, Eddie had spoken about the kick. The team that kicks the most is the team that wins, but now he's reverted back.
His philosophy's changed.
So that'll take time to bed in. So I think, like, a year ago, we were sitting giving out about Ireland's attack and how poor it was, and now we're lauding it. So I think in that sense, he has to be given time in the attack.
OK, so one of these Saturdays or Sundays, it's going to click. Will it be in a fortnight?
I hope not. I have to say I'm not overly impressed by England, and I'm listening to Eddie Jones a long time, and I tell you, he's a fantastic man at buying time for himself. I just think that the RFU, I know if they left him go, to cost him an absolute fortune.
Right.
And I think one of the problems with England actually is they don't have any identity outside of Eddie Jones. You know, you look at Ireland, you see Johnny Sexton line at Peter O'Mahony. There's people you can identify with. This English team, for me, you know, there isn't a Martin Johnson type figure. And they seem to be all operating in the shadow of Eddie Jones. You go back to the point you made about Saracens. There was a hardcore of proven Saracens players who were in that cohort that you're talking about that got to a World Cup final. But
you don't see the same here?
I don't. Like, Saracens, they know how to win.
Okay.
I'm not so sure that this particular group have found a way to win yet, and Eddie Jones keeps making excuses for them.
Well,